I've only been tracking my reading on apps such as Goodreads or Storygraph for the past 2 years, and I would very much say that for the past couple years I have been a mood reader. I've been picking up what I feel at the time. If there's a series I want to delve into, I will delve into that. If I'm really tired, I will read something just for the sake of reading, more than because I'm expecting to really enjoy the story. And because I noticed that, I thought to myself, well, how much time am I actually wasting with my reading? I decided to take a look at the statistics, and in 2024 and in 2025, I read about 120, 130 books. However, when I looked through what I actually read, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really remember or I didn't rate very well. There's definitely nothing wrong with reading a book and being disappointed, but when I looked through the things that I had chosen to read with my time, I was setting myself up for disappointment. These weren't necessarily books that I knew I was going to like. That doesn't mean that every book that I've read in the last 2 years has been a waste of time. I've read the Red Rising trilogy, I've read the Mistborn trilogy, I've read the Poppy War trilogy. I did read more than just trilogies, but those are just some of my favourite books that I've read in the past couple years. I did the maths to try and see how much of my reading time was actually productive, and in 2024, 41% of my books I felt was a good use of my time, or I enjoyed, or I think about. And in 2025, that did go up. It went up to 47%. So not miles, but it did improve. This year, I'm going to take a good, long, hard look at myself in the mirror. And I'm going to vow to myself that this year, instead of putting off reading books because I don't have the mental energy or because I can't be bothered or I just want to read something, I will focus on books that I actually know that I want to read, because it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. And I think this is for a number of reasons. The first reason, the fact that I keep just reading random things on a whim of, oh, I'll just read that, when really my TBR is over at the side going, Mina, please. Mina, we've been on this list for 3 years now. You have to pick us up. You have to read us. Please, Mina. And I'm not picking them up. Not because I don't want to, I'm just not doing it, and I need to start doing that. The list just keeps getting longer, and I'm wasting my time on miscellaneous Kindle Unlimited books. Something that I am very much at fault of is when I buy a book that I'm really excited to read, I keep it there on my shelf because I'm like, oh, at some point I'm gonna pick that up and be happy that I've kept it. I'm one of those freaks, I think I've mentioned before, that normally I eat my food on my plate in order from worst to best, and I've been trying to do that with books. I've been trying to read all of the sediment, all of the creme, in the words of Brandon Sanderson, all of the creme at the bottom of my water bucket, and I'm not drinking the water. The sweet, sweet water that will hydrate me and thrive me and make my brain go absolutely crazy for the next year. So, in this vow to myself, I am reading good books in 2026. And by good, I mean this relatively. Whatever's good for you at the time, everyone's version of a good book is going to be different. Sometimes my version of a good book isn't quality literature. It is something that I really enjoyed or something that I connected with emotionally. It doesn't have to be quality writing, it doesn't have to be classics. Everyone's version of a good book is going to look different. I want to focus on my versions of good books this year. And I think the best way for me to do that is to take a look at the books that I own and organize it into things I'm most looking forward to reading and things that can maybe wait. And if I get to the end of the year and I still haven't read them, maybe they need to be rehomed because I really need to change my attitude around reading. I probably have about 50 unread books behind me on the shelves, and I think that these shelves are perfectly laid out for tier ranking. So I'm gonna put books I'm most excited for on the top and then books I'm least excited for at the bottom. I also need to do this today because tomorrow I have a lot of Brandon Sanderson books arriving, and they will absolutely dominate my top shelf if I don't do this now. And then all I will read for the next 4 months will be Brandon Sanderson. And there's nothing wrong with that, it might happen anyway, but I should give it a go for that to not be the case. First, I'll need to empty the shelves. I'll probably chuck them all on my bed, but we'll see where they end up. I got pretty far with trying to lay them all out, but I actually don't have enough room on my bed to get them all in there. I did some rejigging, but it is now all done. I will put a little clip of me panning my bookshelves where I had to accidentally and unintentionally demote some books for the sake of actually getting them in there. But at least this is a good guide to future me as to how well I actually stuck to my goal of trying to read books I'm interested in. This shelf should be completely eradicated. This shelf should be mostly eradicated. And some stuff from down there will be read, definitely. 2026 is going to be a good reading year. I'm going to rate more books this year in the 4 stars than ever before. I'm going to believe. And my percentage of meaningful book time should hopefully be over 50%. I'd really like to get it over 60%. There is still time and a place for random books or just miscellaneous junk. Sometimes we need that. It's like watching reality TV. But I've been reading too much reality TV. And it's time to step up my fantasy game. Because that's my favourite genre. And what do you mean I haven't read as much of it as I should have done last year? Thank you for watching. I think this has been a pretty long video. I also don't think it's been particularly interesting, but I enjoyed sorting my bookshelf, so that's something. Thank you, goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.